Remember this, guys, we've posted this a long time ago, and we said this is the archive algorithm data of Apple. That is what the drop should look like. Okay, so if you pull it down there, that's about the drop, and we should come down to this level here, to very low levels actually, of minimum about 6,800, maybe to this level of about 7,200. But expect the market to start dropping in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. 4 to 5 days. It's going to drop very badly. When you have this image now in your mind, now we're going to go forward. Now remember this, guys, this is a shock in the market. It's a very, very big shock in the market, because nobody in the entire world, you can go through anything that you want, everybody was calling for the market now to break out and go to 10,000, 11, 12, 14,000. There must be mathematically, if you work out through a mathematical equation where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is now, then there must be some sort of a pullback, a sideways action, and then we get a big, big, big explosion in price July, August. Something that will blow out. It's going to be almost like we will have in 2 months what happened in 4 or 5 months. So the money is going to come. And in that period, somewhere in June, July, and August, there is going to be one coin or maybe 2 coins that is going to spike upwards to 3,000%. I believe that coin is going to be Litecoin. Now, I've done a lot of studies on this. 60% plus says to me it's going to be Litecoin. And if it is Litecoin, Litecoin is going to spike from around about $80 to $90 where it's going to be at that point. It's going to spike up about 80 or 90% in one day. That will be the sign that it is Litecoin. If that happens, okay, we'll get in before the time because we will more or less know where it's going to happen. Then expect over 30 days that Litecoin could potentially go to $3,600. Guys, I want that for you. If this happens, most people here will make insane money. So we are working really hard on getting that information to you. Please keep all this data private. Okay.
Oh, Mary?
Yep.
Quickly, you also mentioned in the cheat sheet that NEO may go to 850 and Ethereum to 5,000. Is that in line with the 3,000%?
In the cheat sheet that
I'm sorry, in the Telegram post. In the Telegram post.
That Ethereum is going to go to 5,000.
And then NEO possibly to 850. I think a couple of days back.
NEO, in our opinion, guys, NEO is going to go to $850, not 850.
Right.
Or okay, you probably mean $850.
$850.
Yeah. Ethereum, right. That is correct. Ethereum, in our opinion, is going to go up to 5,000. That's my personal target. But banks are talking about Ethereum is going up to 10,000. I've been lucky.
Is that in the same timeline? I'm sorry.
We don't know. We really don't know. But I can tell you where I see it's not the same timeline really. This spike that's going to happen is going to be unique. It's going to catch everybody off guard. Many people won't own that specific coin. And remember, at this moment, I'm saying it's Litecoin. I don't know if it is. It's either going to be Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, or XRP, and there's 2 other coins as well. It could be any, but I'm betting now on Litecoin. Okay, so let's say if Litecoin spikes, it's going to go to 3,600. But you look at NEO, in our opinion, in the end of this year going into next year. Remember, I've always said that the all-time high is going to be broken in the second year of 2020 in January of 2020. At that point, we believe that it's very plausible that that NEO could be around about $850. Now, if Litecoin literally needs to be up to 40,000 at that point. So we're still working on the model to see where the figures are. But we also see in my price target, I see Ethereum just around figure $5,000. Yeah, 4,500, 5,500, around figure $5,000. Because we're working, I can't tell you it's going to be $4,851.25 on a specific day. We can't do it. But my mathematical equation can work out a percentage, and then that percentage, when we work it out, gives us around about $5,000. Now, going forward, the banks are talking about Ethereum being about 10,000 by the end of this year. I've been on the call, I've listened to it, and that is what they said. Now, digital assets is big in Ethereum. I mean, go and have a look at the blog post. I posted some information there. Thank you for the guy who sent it to me, the guy from Warpaint on Twitter. There's big developments happening in the usability of Ethereum, as well as Ethereum Classic. Now, we see that the institutional investors are going to start jumping in and start using and buying and using the fund to get involved in Ethereum. And that could potentially push the price of Ethereum up like dramatically. And then also, there's a whole bunch of other institutions also that are looking at Ethereum from what I understand. So guys, when we look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin, remember what we said, it's going to form these 3 dojis there. We spoke about the 3 dojis, which is that one there. You can't really argue and say that is a doji. One of them may be a spinning top, the top one, but in average, let's say it's a doji. Don't hit me on the head and say, oh, it's not technical correct because the body is not long enough and whatever, you know. There's so many technical people that have sent me and said, you calling this a doji? It's not a doji. It's a X22 doji pattern of a rising star. What the hell? I don't care. The point is, guys, okay, it's kind of like a doji pattern that's coming down. That is what it is, you know. I don't care about technical stuff because you can, it's like I said, when we go forward, you'll realize that Elliott wave theory and technical analysis doesn't work on Bitcoin. It's like, guys, when you look at Bitcoin now, Bitcoin should rise, but it's dropping. The only thing that works is a kind of like an algorithm pattern, you know, in conjunction with Elliott wave. Now, one of the things that we see here, it's very remarkable, really, that we are forming a rising wedge. A rising wedge normally breaks down. But let me go back and I'll show you quickly something here. If you go back to this point here on the 2nd of April, now remember this, we called a rising wedge there as well. And we said that this rising wedge normally 90% of the times actually break down. And it broke down here, but it went up again and bang, it broke out there. So here's a rising wedge again. Now, in this case, we have a rising wedge that's breaking down. So you can see that Elliott wave theory doesn't really always work. It's a great theory, and we will keep on using it. And I agree that people here should study Elliott wave and start working with Elliott wave. Now, what I see here happening is that we probably tomorrow are going to see another breakthrough this 22 mathematical algorithm line. See this one here? Don't worry if you don't understand what the Python X is. Don't worry if you don't know what 22 is or the Python Y axis, this one here. That's a very, very important axis that we are going to use right through from now till the end of the year. You'll see what I mean when we get into that later in the year. But it's very important that you see that once the 22 breaks this Python Y axis, is that a few days on, the market always starts breaking down. And many coins are not there yet, but we're going to use that to identify when those coins will drop big time. Okay? So at this moment now, this is a bullish indicator when it goes through. At first, it becomes a negative indicator as it goes forward about a week or two later. Now, what is another good indicator here is when now let's go back to Bitcoin quickly. See this golden cross here? That's a positive indicator. And this is what pushed Bitcoin up. Now look what happened a few days later. First of all, you get the golden cross and look what happens. You get a drop and then the market pushes up. Now I'm going to jump around a little bit. Now let's focus on that. Now I'm going to show you what is happening with XRP. XRP at this moment is forming this huge cup and handle. I'm not going to get into it. Many people know what a cup and handle is. This here on the right hand side is your handle. But let's go back and have a look now. Can you see here is your golden cross? Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin and I'm going to show you this now again. Just waiting for the screens to appear all around the world. There it goes. See that golden cross there? When the golden cross happened, you had that drop, it turns around and it goes up parabolically. Goes up parabolic. Now look at XRP where XRP is. There's the golden cross. You've got the throwback. It's coming down in conjunction now with this cup and handle. So your next step now is that we potentially is going to see, we're going to see this rise in price and it's going to go up. Now remember what I said, guys, XRP, that I expect XRP to go up to, let me just get my notes here, about 307% to about $1.80. Is there a question there? The other good indicator, guys, is this one here, where the 22 MAE is crossing the 3B algorithm mathematical equation. Yes, Mike, just go ahead there.
Hey, Marius, so that all makes a lot of sense to me. The current, so it's not it wasn't a surprise to me that Bitcoin goes down based on your previous videos, but it is a bit of a surprise that altcoins also corrected while we were expecting for them to stay flat or slightly rise. Do you see then the current correction still within line of what you predict?
Yes, let's go through that, Mike, quickly. Remember, guys, we have given you this document here. If you go there of 28 May, you can go and download the document in the members area, report 39A. Here I say that below are probabilities looking into the future and may not be 100% accurate. So make this disclaimer there, okay, because I don't want people to put my head on a block here. And I say here very clearly that it's going to be volatile in the next 14 days. Now, what I also say here, this may not play out 100%. I'm using this as a guideline. You need to make your own decisions. I want to point this to this, you know, because I've made it very clear to people. Some of my buddies and people on this call have asked me, listen, how do you see the next week too? And we spoke, Bill Nolan also asked me last week, and he said, how do you see this play out? And I said, I'll prepare something. So this is what I did. And I said, okay, right, what I am going to use is this. This is kind of like my cheat sheet. I always prepare a cheat sheet because I plan my trades. I know what I'm going to do in the next 2 weeks. This is till about the 22 June, because I want to use this as a guideline. I refer to it, I print it out, and I keep it there. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here with my notes, I'm looking at it, it's on my desk. Okay, now, what I'm looking at, okay, let's take Bitcoin Cash as an example. Here I'm saying that it is going to go up on 30, 31, and then 1 and 2 June for 4 days. Then sell at 138%. Then I'm going to move it into XRP, Digibyte, BNB. I have to have a plan, okay? So now I've got a plan, more or less. Now let's go and have a look at Bitcoin Cash. What is Bitcoin Cash doing? Now, the first thing that you will notice here is that Bitcoin Cash has started to drop down, and it got stopped out by the 22 mathematical equation, this one there. Have a look here on the bottom and you'll see what happened with the 22 mathematical equation here. Look there. That one, Bitcoin, dropped right down to the bottom here. Okay, now let's have a look and see what is happening here. This one here is forming this one too. Let me just mute everybody here just for those noises there. Now, what you're seeing here in Bitcoin Cash, and we mute everybody again. There we are. Okay, all muted. Oh, the mute function doesn't work. Allow. Oh, there we go. Everybody's muted. Okay, well, if you want to talk, just unmute yourself, guys. Now, you'll see that Bitcoin Cash broke up here. It's forming that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we expect that now to start breaking out here very, very quickly. Okay, right around there. Now, the reason I'm basing my decision on is the fact that you just need to pay very, very close attention here. I'm going to show you what I see here. Now, let's go back and have a look and see where this number 2 is. Can you see that number 2 there? Let's go downwards and we have a look and pull that just down to this little line there. See that MS52 line, that one there, is crossing over the 2B algorithm mathematical equation. Let's go back and have a look here, guys. That is where we are. If you go back to Bitcoin, you'll see that Bitcoin crossed. Okay, the green line went above the pink line. I want you to really focus on that. What happened directly after that? Directly after that, look what happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. It went up for 8 days. Bitcoin is front running Bitcoin Cash. So we can now argue and say that because Bitcoin Cash is behind, okay, behind Bitcoin, then we can make the assumption and say at this moment now that Bitcoin Cash is still going to break out. Now I'm going to draw this line here, and what I'm going to do is to make it pink so that you can just see what I mean. Now this is the kind of information that you guys are going to get when you get on the live webinars. Now let's go there. You can see that we are almost forming kind of like the same pattern that you see here. Let me just make that pink as well, and I'm going to make it thick. I'll go a little bit slower so that everybody can understand what is going on here. Okay, now can you see the resemblance between what you see on the bottom here and what you see on the top there? Now see this line that I've put in here, this blue line here? I'm going to move this now just a little bit on, bang, there. Can you see here now? That is where Bitcoin Cash more or less in some sort of a mathematical equation. There's another way I can work it out as well, but I'm just trying to show you a basic principle here. Now, what has happened here on this day here? Can you see here that it had a bit of a downtrend between 4 and 5? Now, that one there in Bitcoin didn't go as low as this one, but this one, look there, 1, 2, 3 days downwards. Now, the days don't always work out, but more important, look what happened here. Can you see that it did a big uptrend? And this is why I'm saying to you that Bitcoin Cash could go up 30, 31, and 1. It could go up a little bit more. Now, although this in Bitcoin is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, divided by 3.175, and you get about 3 days. So this is why I say maybe we're just a day behind, but I see an uptrend coming here that it could potentially break out and go up and break this level here. See that 49% that I put in there? And that is the level that I said that I expect Bitcoin Cash to hit. Okay, maybe $704. Now remember guys, this is based upon probabilities, and this is why I've given you this sheet here to help you to make that decision. Let's have a look at Bitcoin Cash. I say that Bitcoin Cash goes up on 30, 31 May, 1 and 2 June. Remember I put in there 4 days, but I expect it will go up for 3 days. Maybe we're just a day late. Days can be a day late, 2 days late, 3 days late. What is happening in the market here is that there is a big shock. Let's go back to Bitcoin. Nobody that I know of in the entire world that is predicting this low. Now, many people, as you know, said it's going to break out and it's going to go to 11 and 12,000. We said no, it must first drop down. And we say that this low is possibly going to come down to this Python y-axis. And I'm going to explain to you quickly the low. That low there is 7,195. It could come down to this blue line here, it can spike through, similar to what you saw here, this little spike, and touch that blue line, which is about 6.8. If it breaks through this Python y-axis, there is a probability that it can touch this line here. This line here is the MS52. If it touches that line, let me just move that out of the way. If it touches that line, the market can go lower. And when it breaks through the 3B algorithm line, I tell you now, guys, it's going to go down to 4416. Big probability for that to happen. Now, how do we get to this, and why is the range so wide? The range is so wide because if there's a bit of downwards momentum on Bitcoin, it can go extremely low, like a bear market that people call it. Now, I've always said we're not in a bear market. You won't see bear and bull markets in Bitcoin because there's a long explanation for that I need to go into, but it's got to do with a granular cycle. You don't get bear and bull markets in a granular cycle. A granular cycle has never ever happened in any coin or any stock market coin. Never, ever. And you are going to see within the next 2 years, then people are going to catch on and say, listen, this has never, ever happened in the world. What is this? What is this Bitcoin? And they're going to realize that what I'm saying here, the granular cycle, which is a new word, there's not a word for that, is going to be the big thing that people are going to talk about. We're not in a bear or a bull market. We're in a massive, massive uptrend, mass adoption. There's not even a word for these things. The same as there is not a word for what's happening with hyperinflation at the moment. Remember this, guys, we are having hyperinflation. You just don't notice it because we are like little frogs that we put in a pot of cold water and it's slowly boiling. Before the frog knows, he's dead. He's boiled. Okay? Now remember this.
So Marius.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what you're saying is when you moved out of Bitcoin into Litecoin, you don't see Litecoin, those other alts moving up now as Bitcoin's retracing?
No, everything is exactly as per the so far as the cheat sheet. I haven't changed any positions here. I'm still saying that Bitcoin Cash is going to move up, and I just explained why. If you go to Bitcoin Cash here, you can see that I'm saying is that we are there where that blue line is, and that if I am correct, and we're going to find out in the next 24 hours, by tomorrow this time, we're going to find out. Well, not really. We're going to find out the next hour because the next candle need to be upwards. Exactly what you see here, Mike. See that? Okay. I expect that trend there to go upwards for 3 days and perhaps in 3 days hitting the $704 mark. So according to me, that is on. Now, guys, keep this in mind. We are not a kindergarten here. We need to understand that what's happening with XRP here. Where will I sell? Where will I sell if XRP drops? Sorry, not XRP, Bitcoin Cash. When Bitcoin Cash drops below $400, see that brown line there? Let me just move that out and remove this pink line so you can see that clear. You can see that this 22 mathematical algorithm equations stopped Bitcoin and now Bitcoin Cash, and now it's starting to move upwards again. Now, tomorrow or in the next hour, you're actually going to see that that Bitcoin is going to drop further. If Bitcoin drops further, it could put pressure on Bitcoin Cash. And if it so happens that Bitcoin Cash does not reverse and go back upwards at $402 Bitcoin Cash, I'm selling out. I'm not going to sit there. Now, what I might do is that I'm going to sell 50% and I'll just let the rest run. Because remember this, guys, what is going to happen here in the market? This is not a downtrend. We're in a massive uptrend. You can easily just keep Bitcoin Cash and ride out this wave. It may drop a lot, but look what's going to happen here. We're going to drop here, and I believe that we're going to drop into about 5 or 6 June. It's going to drop and go up. Who knows? Okay, we just need to figure out. I'm just showing the trend. Once it drops, it's going to go back up here, and then it's going to drop again for the majority of June, even into July. July, wherever this low point is now, this point here that's coming here is going to be lower than that point, in my opinion. It's just from algorithm data, because you can see when you work at the mathematical equations that the equation goes from 8.7 to 8.6, 8.5. It shows downwards. That's why I say that we could potentially have a lower low. And come year 17, maybe 17 July, somewhere in that region, guys, this thing is going to blow up. What has happened in 5 months is going to happen in 2 or 3 months. And you're going to make another 300, 400, 500%. Keep this in mind. Now, let's go back to Bitcoin Cash. What I'm saying is here is that, sorry, that's a miss ago. With Bitcoin Cash, keep in mind that if this drops a little bit further, that you need to get out. Hold on for what? Oh, what I hear is that the screens are loading a little bit slow, so I'll talk a little bit slower and wait for the screens. Keep in mind that when Bitcoin Cash drops to this level, and it drops below, I'm going to sell 50% or so, park it in stable coins or cash, and I'll be ready to buy if Bitcoin Cash drops and it goes lower. In that way, you've protected yourself 2 ways. You've protected yourself that if Bitcoin cash returns upwards, you catch that swing and you just buy back in. But if Bitcoin Cash drops, you average cost your buy in, and you've made some profit there as well, because now you've increased your amount of Bitcoin Cash. It's just a smart way of doing it. This is why, guys, don't worry about drops. You know, if you understand what to do, you can make a heck of a lot of money. I think somebody wanted me to talk about XRP. Was that correct, Wendy?
Yes. Can I have a quick question, Marius, about Bitcoin Cash again?
Yeah, sure.
So when we have that drop, what are you looking for as for a price range to get back into on Bitcoin Cash?
Okay, well, this is the thing that we don't know. I can tell you with Bitcoin where Bitcoin is going to go. But currently at this moment, remember this, that I'm saying that Bitcoin Cash, if it drops, this is not something I anticipate, and this is something that I will play around with. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at this MS52 line. See this line here, which is $328? That is most likely, if it breaks through the 22 MAE, this is your next mathematical algorithm equation stop line. You can go and work this out, guys. This is incredible. You know, if you have the mathematical formula and you don't even look at these lines, I come out to that same figure. Let me just look, $329. So how much is that now? That is 331. So I've got 329 in the algorithm mathematical equation. So that means that this line could go downwards a little bit to hit that low. And that is actually correct. So it could be that it hits that level and stops there and then goes back up. But let's quickly, guys, let's go back to, let me just do this one screen, and I'm here on Bitcoin Cash. Let me show you what happened with Bitcoin Cash. And I base a lot of this data. Now remember, guys, this is kind of like woo-woo data, but woo-woo made me a lot of money. You know, everybody tries to trade with technical stuff. And I tell you what, guys, many of these things don't work. You know, you can use it as a guideline. But let's go back and see what happened here on 17 December 2017. It's very important that you understand that. And I went and did a video on that. Go back and watch that video. Here at 17 December, what happened? Bitcoin dropped. Look what happened the day after that. See that big drop in Bitcoin Cash? One day after, which is kind of like, you can argue and say this is actually now the drop. It could be that tomorrow that Bitcoin Cash drops, or now in the next hour that Bitcoin Cash drops a little bit further. But look what happens here, guys. It goes up 1, 2, 3 days, and it goes up 138% from that low level there. Okay, and this is where I said in my notes, if you go and read my notes here, keep the 3 days into account. 2, 1, 31, maybe 30. And that's why I've got 4 days in there. That June, up till June, and then for 4 days it's going to go up and we sell at 138%. And then if this plays out, we move the money into XRP, Digibyte, BNB, or NEO. Now this may play out. Remember my thing here that I say it may not play out? I was really sitting here and thinking, should I or should I not give this to everybody? Because, you know, people are like this, guys. When you make one wrong call, then they're going to copy this out, and then people are going to say, Bitcoin Cash, oh, this is what you said it's going to happen. Oh, he's so wrong. Or they're going to take this entire spreadsheet and say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, 15 calls here. Out of the 15 calls, you only had one correct. So, you know, this is why I say, guys, be very careful. We may be lucky and have everything 100% correct, but people like to focus on the negativity when you make a wrong call. But I'm giving this to you. This may help you. And guys, we may just make a lot of money. Now, keep in mind, the reason I decided to push this out, Mike, very important that you know, is let's go back to Bitcoin. And I want people to understand this. The reason is, if we make a wrong call, and all that's going to happen is that the market is going to drop for the next 20 or 30 days. Guess what happens here at 17 July? If you were to hold everything and you don't even sell, here in July, this thing is going to go up parabolic. All we are trying to do, the reason we want to sell is to increase the amount of coins we have. If you have 1,000 Bitcoin Cash, you want to see if you can maybe make 1,100 Bitcoin Cash. Because guess what? When the market is there, okay, and then we come here, and you've got 1,000 Bitcoin Cash here. Now you come down and the market goes up here again, and you've got 1,100 Bitcoin Cash. What have you done? You've actually increased your holdings with 10%. This is why I say we can't lose. And this is one of the reasons I decided I'm going to put this document out. If we're wrong, you simply hold.
Marius, this is Boris. Just an observation. I understand the concept of getting more coins and all that. This is wonderful. If you can get out on top and pick it up on the bottom or somewhere close to it. But from what I've seen throughout my experience with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, that is the wave that lifts all the boats. If Bitcoin rises, everything else rises. Bitcoin drops, everything else follows. I've never seen, a strong altcoins to go the other way. So it'd be great if this happens. Just an observation. That's all.
Yeah, Boris, but remember, if you say you've never seen it before, let me show you again. It's happened 12 times over the last 10 years in cryptos, where Bitcoin went, when Bitcoin dropped and altcoins went up. I had a look at all 12 occasions, and every single one is exactly the same.
It just might be me. I haven't seen it in 2 years I've been following it. That's all. But yeah, it probably happened in the past. It's just that lately, when Bitcoin moves, everything else moves with it.
No,
whatever direction it goes.
Yeah, no, it's not like that, Boris. You know, look here. Look what happened here on 17 December in Bitcoin. Now look at that top. That top is 17 December. Now keep in mind that Bitcoin dropped here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this bars pattern, and I'll go back to every single coin. I'll show you. I'm going to take the bars pattern. Now remember, that is the high for Bitcoin. And I'm going to go right down to the bottom here, and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to take that and just make that a very dark color, which is now pink. Okay, now I'm going to copy that.
It's going slower.
It's going slower, but I'm going to copy that now.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go, let's say I am going to go to Bitcoin Cash. Now, have a look here, Boris. See here, there's 17 December. That is when Bitcoin dropped. Now, let me show you what happened with Bitcoin there. I'm going to copy this chart pattern of Bitcoin in on this chart. There's what happened with Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped, but Bitcoin Cash went up. So there's a typical example. Now you've seen it, Boris.
Yes, I have, but you got to remember that back in December, Bitcoin Cash was a fork, and it was just released. So there was a lot of FOMO going in. That's what pushed the price up.
That is true. But let's go back to Bitcoin Cash again, and I'm going to show you something here now. Bitcoin.
I don't mean to argue. I appreciate everything you're doing. And this is wonderful if it happens this way. It's just that my observation, I haven't seen a lot of.
Boris, the fork was in 2018, November.
No, I'm sorry. It was 2017, if I remember right. 2018 was just around the corner.
Yeah, but remember this, whether it's a fork or not, I'm looking at patterns. Patterns repeat themselves, and they always play out. Now, the pattern may be that we are going to have an inverse where that actually goes down. It is possible that it can happen. This still means that the pattern is going to play out maybe a little bit later. But what I'm saying to you guys here is, if we want to make some money, we need to be really smart and check every single thing. Now remember, guys, the first thing that you do, you plan for the market to drop. That's the first thing. That's what I do. I say to myself, what am I going to do if Bitcoin Cash drops? I've just told you what I'm going to do. When it drops below 400 and it drops below that 22 line there, I'm going to sell 50%, and I'm going to park it into cash. And I'm going to go through all the coins, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. If it drops, that is my exit strategy. You must always have it. Remember what I said about Litecoin? I've always said, if Litecoin drops below $100, guys, sell and get out. You know, you've made a lot of money, just sell or sell 50%. My strategy is to sell 50%. Now, let's have a look here. I've shown you here that we've got this 1, 2, 3, 4. I've shown you why. Remember this line here, that cross of the 50 going above the 2B algorithm, the pink line. It happened here. What happens after that? This blue line here, that line there, this is where I expect where Bitcoin Cash is at the moment. We have to see that 1, 2, 3, 4. It's interesting that this mathematical equation actually works out in 4 days as well, maybe 3 or 4. We will see in the next 30 minutes, Boris, you know, what happens here with Bitcoin Cash. I'm hoping that we're going to see the divergence. First of all, it's going to start with maybe a drop, but I do believe it can turn back. If it doesn't, we sell 50%. Sorry,
Yeah,
there's
no,
just
thank you, Marius. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm really all for it. If it happens this way, this is going to be great. So we can pick up more coins. And,
Boris, if it happens, we're going to be so happy, man. And I'm going to book that cruise ship for all of us.
Absolutely. I'll be thrilled for sure.
And I just want to touch on this, guys. You know, the amount of millionaires that are being created. I promise you, it's not a story.
Be a millionaire.
Wendy is sitting here next to me. She sees the emails coming in. It's crazy what's happening. This is only the start. That's why I call ourselves the 2 years to freedom team. People are going to make insane money. There's now a guy that told me that he bought Walton Coin, and he just cashed Walton Coin out, and he paid off his last bit of debt. He's completely debt free now. And now he's still got about 20,000 to invest, and he lives in Hong Kong. This guy is a South African guy. And we're helping him now invest that $20,000. He's completely debt free. From this year till now, he paid off about $100,000 worth of debt. He doesn't own anything on his house anymore, but he sits only now with $20,000. But I said to him, listen, that's good. Get debt free, and he's got a good job, and we're going to turn that $20,000 for him into $200,000. It's going to happen. And then you're very close to $1 million, because 200,000 turns into 400, then 800, then 1.6. Guys, I see people's accounts, and I see where they started at 50, 60, or 70,000. They are now into 250, 300, and 400,000. Those people will now turn into millionaires. So it's not a story; it's happening, guys. While we go on, ask some questions here. If there are any questions, try and limit them perhaps maybe to the end. Okay, let me quickly go through. I'm going to go through Litecoin. I think everybody wants to know Litecoin again. I think I did speak about Litecoin, but I just want to reiterate this again. Can you see, guys, here? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Just a quick follow-up question on this. The way we would find this 22 MAE mathematical algorithm equation value, so that we can design our own protection if it breaks down, is it from the charts we could have access to that, or how would we read it? How would we know where to sell, basically?
I will post the charts out on the blog posts. Have a look at that. My algorithm works a little bit different. Okay. I'm not going to give anybody in the world my data, because this is our proprietary software. Yeah. But you can more or less, you can go and find it. You can go and work with the EMA 50, the EMA 200, the MA 200, the MA 50. You can go and do that. I just quickly want to go through Litecoin here. First of all, guys, look at Litecoin here. Litecoin didn't even touch the 22. I expected Litecoin is going to go up similar to what I said with regard to Bitcoin Cash, and we could potentially hit that 151. I am going to sell Litecoin very clearly. Make your note. If we hit below $100, I'm selling 50% of my Litecoin. I'm keeping the rest. Let me go to EOS. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with EOS. Again, with EOS, I believe that EOS is going to go back upwards, and it's going to hit this level here. It's not going to go up too high. I believe about this level here of about $9 or $10. It's going to drop back, and then it's going to go back upwards. but we do believe that EOS is going to start turning upwards. When we see the next candle here, I believe that Bitcoin is going to drop further. Now have a look in the algorithm pattern, guys. Can you see this blue line here? This is where I believe where EOS is. See this drop here, 1, 2. Now, where do I get that drop? Let's go back here to the 22 MA and then to the 3B algorithm line. See this cross here? There is the cross on EOS. Can you see that EOS is behind? When that moves upwards, it means that EOS still has to move upwards. And now look at this here also. Can you see this purple line here? Let me go here. See that purple line? That is the Python y-axis. Okay, this purple line here. Can you see that EOS is just crossing that? Exactly there. Look there. Remember, Bitcoin has crossed that. When we cross the Python y-axis, it means that you are going to have a drop. Okay, that drop, if we drop below the Python y-axis, is going to go lower. But look at where EOS is. EOS just went through the 6 above the Python y-axis, and it's going to head upwards for the next day, 2 or 3. Then we're going to have a drop, and that drop is going to be closer to about 5, 6, 7, 8 June, and then it's going to go further up. Now look at this, guys. Even if you don't sell EOS and you just ride the wave up, you can do it. Now remember, I sold when EOS hit that level. I tweeted it out the day when it hit. That means that that blue line there is the line of 20 July 2018. Go to the Top 40 Crypto Report, follow that. I haven't updated that yet, but you can still follow that. I will try and send out an update. It's probably now due for an update now. So I'll do that. I know, Bill, you asked me last week for that too. So anyway, that's with EOS. I don't own any EOS at the moment because I moved all that into some cash and stable coins and some of it into Bitcoin Cash and some into Litecoin.
Maury, Jim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I got a question about the EOS. Now, I'm in the U.S., like, you know, can I still get the EOS? I was in the, you know, their year-long ICO and everything, and then toward the end, you had to go through the KYC process, and of course, you know, they wouldn't let people in the U.S. in and everything. But these are native tokens that you're talking about on the EOS?
Yeah, you just go to any exchange and you buy it. Bitfinex, Binance, unless I misunderstand your question there.
Okay.
Okay, guys, let's move on. We're going to go to Ethereum here. You're going to see that Ethereum is just heading above the 3B algorithm line there. Expect a little bit more upside into this level here of about $331, and then a bit of a drop there, and then upwards. Keep in mind that this again is the support. That is support. It's above that 3B algorithm line. It could drop, but we don't see a big drop. And then also the 22 MAE is above the 2B algorithm line. It's a bullish. This is a bullish chart. And look at this, guys. We haven't hit the Python y-axis yet. There's big, big, big upside coming. This is why I say that my target is here. The target is $473 for Ethereum. Now, when will I sell Ethereum? If it comes back and it drops again below this line of $242, then I sell 50%, I keep the other 50%. Ultimately, it's going to go up. Let me quickly go to NEO. NEO is the one that is about $850. Now, what has really happened here is also good. You can see here that it broke above that 2B algorithm line. There we go, that pink line there. It's went upwards, it broke through, it's come down. That 2B is now the support. Expect this to go to $15.92. It hasn't even hit the Python y-axis. Look at this, guys. Let me just quickly show you there. Very important that you see this. Remember this pink line, this purple line here of the Python y-axis of Bitcoin? Look where the Python y-axis is here for NEO. I'm showing you groundbreaking stuff, guys. Nobody else in the world will have this. This is why I want you to keep this data really, really secure. Now look at this, guys. This still is going to spike up to $36 and potentially breaking that and go to $50, $50.51. you can literally just keep NEO. It's going to go up regardless of what is happening here on the bottom. There's another very good indicator. The 22 mathematical equation is about to cross above the 2B. Now remember, it could potentially break down, but ultimately it's going to go upwards, and this thing can make you 190% gains. Again, if you look at the cheat sheet, let's go back there. Let's get into NEO. It goes up for 30.31. No need to sell as we expect 294%. Now, NEO goes up while Bitcoin drops. NEO goes up till around 16-20 June, then a slight drop. But NEO is one of those coins that I'm not even going to sell. I'm keeping it because it's going to go to $850. I don't care what little drops happen. On a big scale, let's quickly have a look here. Now we're using Elliott Wave and we're using technical indicators. Okay, have a look at this now. See that one there? There's your 5 waves. 1, 2, some people say this is the third wave, but it's not true. The third wave is this one here. That's your third wave. Then you've come down here, right into this low there. We expect this to be an extended wave hitting past the 3B algorithm line, because that's what my data shows, and then going past the Python y-axis. Then we get a bigger drop. Not too big, but this could even go as far as, okay, we're going to get a high point here, maybe here in June, about 17, 18, 19, but it could potentially shoot up. If not, it's going to be somewhere in this region here heading into July. But very good for NEO. Let me quickly get into OMG, similar to that of NEO, guys, similar. You can see that last night or yesterday, it broke through here and it went up to that point and it's just come down there, touching this point here of the 20 MAE, similar to what Bitcoin has done. Bitcoin has dropped, but look at this. The 22 MAE is moving upwards and is going to cross the 2B algorithm line, similar to what NEO is doing. OMG is just a little bit behind NEO. OMG is probably about there, about 2 days behind. So a great way to do is to follow NEO. When you see NEO spike, you see that OMG could potentially spike as well. So that's an easy way to follow OMG. Let me get into this one. Here's OMG. Okay, XRP, as I said with XRP, expect a bit of a downtrend here, but it's ultimately going up. I see somebody said here in the notes, is it going to go up to 3,000%? No, guys, remember I asked that question on Twitter and I just said, what if XRP jumps up 3,000%? Remember what I said, there are a few coins that can jump up 3,000% somewhere here in the latter part of July, August, September. It could be Ethereum, Litecoin, could be Bitcoin. I don't believe it is, but it could as well be XRP as well, Bitcoin Cash. But if this happens, I do believe that this one here could potentially have a big breakout here and just go parabolic upwards. The maximum I see here between 17 and 24 June, the maximum is $1.80. Now remember, guys, this is a probability. I'm not saying it's a certainty. We are looking for an uptrend here up till 17 or 24 June. At that point, I may sell because then we're going to have a bit of a drop wherever that point is. But don't worry about all these endpoints. I'm going to update you guys on a daily basis, if not every second day. I'll put charts in there. You'll know where we are heading. That's why it's really important that you look at these videos. Now, one important thing that I did show, I think I did, keep in mind, you guys, that there's your golden cross on XRP. Okay, there's your golden cross. That means this 50 moving average is heading up above to this orange line, which is the 3B algorithm mathematical equation. When it crosses that, it's going to go up a lot more. So this is a good. Let's quickly get into Digibyte. I still expect Digibyte. You know, Digibyte is one of those things that, you know, as soon as you think it's going to go up, it doesn't matter what you do. This thing doesn't even abide by technical analysis nor algorithm analysis. This should actually do something like this. Now, it could be, we put this in last week. If you go back to last week's video, we actually said that drop, there should be a drop around about to this line. but we will see if we are correct where it's going to break upwards. Now, very interesting, guys. This is where the Python y-axis is. We do believe that if it breaks above, well, I don't know really where that point is, but we must see a uptrend above the 3B algorithm line. At one point, I believe that Digibyte is going to spike upwards. But for me, I want to go to coins that are better that I can check, like Bitcoin Cash, EOS, Litecoin. I'm not saying this is a bad coin. At some point, we do believe that this is going to spike upwards. But I just see it very low, very, very low. On a technical analysis, you'll see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth line is roundabout there, just stopping underneath the Python y-axis in that red box, which is roundabout 0.02. And we see it going as high as perhaps this one here. Now, once it shoots above the Python y-axis, there's another axis which is called the XYX axis, which I'll put in there. And there's a few coins like BNB, Digibyte, Theta that is now going to head into the YXY axis. Very interesting, actually, what's happening here. It can only happen in a granular cycle. Guys, this is breaking information, man. I tell you, this is incredible what's happening in cryptos. This is why, guys, cryptos are going to go sky high. If you see the data and I explain the data to you, you will not invest in anything else. You want to put all your money. And remember, this is not financial advice. I want to make it clear. This is training and education. This is why I'm turning this into showing you what I'm looking at. So Digibyte, a little bit more upside. I tell you what, guys, if it breaks this Python YX, it's going to go up to 0.07. Let's quickly get into ZEC. Heading up to this one here, you can see where the Python y-axis is. Is that screen coming up? It's a little bit low. The Python y-axis is right there at the top. You can see the 3B is here. And that pink line there, the 2B algorithm, is creating support now. I don't believe it can drop far below that. It could go sideways. But in my notes in the cheat sheet, I say it's going to create two high points up to 72%. The reason where that 72% comes from, guys, is this one here. See this 3B algorithm? I said that it's going to hit this level here of 72% in the next, it can happen really quickly. From here, it's just one spike. Because the reason is, can I make it a little bit larger here? I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. Again, the 22 is moving upwards. This one here, the 2B algorithm line, that pink line, when it breaks there, it's going to create momentum upwards. But also look at this. Can you see the golden cross there? Bang, this is ready to move. If Bitcoin drops, this thing is going to go upwards, most likely. The reason is, let's go back to Bitcoin again, and I'm going to show you there again in Bitcoin. Remember this, guys, where Bitcoin is at the moment.
Marius, you don't see Zcash as a 3,000% candidate, right?
No, we don't see that data. Now look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin again, guys. Look at that, the Python y-axis. Can you see that Bitcoin is one of the only coins, more or less, that has broken the Python y-axis, is leading? Everybody thinks that Litecoin is ahead of the game. You know, Litecoin is not leading the way. You know, Bitcoin is way. If you look at the other indicators, which I haven't put on here, which is our own indicators that we developed, I was going to make it available where people can use it, other analysts, and then they can pay a fee for that. But we thought, no, we're not going to do it. Now let's have a look at Zcash. I see Zcash going up a little bit, 72. If it breaks this line here, keep in mind, if it breaks that line, it is going to go higher. Not if, I tell you now, it is going to break that line. It is, because these are all coming down. They're all verging into a point, and there's going to be a big breakout in cryptocurrencies very soon. Now let's go to BNB. Very interesting. Look at this, guys. I'm on the day chart, and look where the Python y-axis is. Okay. Now Bitcoin is there. You see why everybody thinks that Litecoin is ahead of the game? No, Binance Coin is way ahead. This is still what is going to happen in cryptos. That big move up. BNB shows you what's going to happen long term. I'm just going to leave the comment there. Now, BNB is going to drop. Let me just say, I said there's going to be a 6-day drop. For 6 days, it will go downwards, and we'll see if that is true. But I was sitting here doing, somebody in our office actually did some technical analysis on this and he showed me. So let me see if I can remember what was said here. Where's all my stuff here? This bottom point here, I think was this one at, that was your 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was the technical analysis on this. This then created from memory what I saw. That is your next start, which was your 1, your 2, 3. That's your 4. It's going to go slightly down, and then your 5 is coming. Okay. Now this one here is your ABC correction. Can you see this one here? Your A, your B, your C correction. Now there is word on the street in our office that Bitcoin is having this drop here. Okay, let me just move that out now. See that drop there? And that it could go lower. With that point there is way, way, way back at the end of June. So effectively, where Bitcoin will do this, it will drop, 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 go back up, 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 and then drop again to a lower point. Okay, before it heads into this point here. And then Bitcoin does that again. And this happens here roundabout, as I said to you, in July. Okay, so keep that in mind. The reason is for this Python y-axis. I didn't really want to put this in the video, but I thought I'll show you guys because you guys have subscribed to these webinars. You want some extra information and you want some extra data. So we are following this very closely. Guys, if anything, I tell you now, BNB, it's going to go up 500%. This is what I see in my data, okay? I'm going to leave the comment there. Let's go to Theta. Theta is one of the coins that I don't really like, but you know, it spikes up, it comes down, it spikes up, it comes down. I don't believe we've got any data really on Theta. One of the things with Theta that we found, guys, is that this coin is too much manipulated. There are whales that are coming in and buying us and pushing up the price, dropping the price. It's the same that you get in Bitcoin SV. I tell you now, stay away from Bitcoin SV. It may go up sky high, but the problem is it's a risky coin. Those whales that are pushing this price up, you may see that it will go up $300, $400, $500, $1,000, and then bang, just when you know it, they're going to drop it and you're going to lose a hell of a lot of money. So this is why I'm not in SV. Rather go invest in stuff like Bitcoin Cash, EOS, you know, Litecoin, Bitcoin, those, Ethereum perhaps. In my opinion, I'm not happy with these people manipulating this, and Theta is one of those. Now keep in mind, although I'm saying that I'm not a fan of Theta, you guys know that I sold my Theta right there on the top. I was actually lucky enough to sell it because I thought, yeah, this is breaking. See this level here of the, that was the, I think it was the 20 July line. Similar to what happened with EOS, guys. When it broke my target there of 20 July 2018, I sold EOS. I moved that into other stuff. Yeah, when Theta did it, I moved the money out because it broke the target. If you held Theta, you would have been probably back to normal now, but you lost the opportunity where the market went down. You couldn't use that money to make money. You imagine if you hold $100,000 there and it drops for, let's see how many days that is. If it drops there for, goodness me, 80 days. What you've lost is the opportunity to use the $100,000, put it into Litecoin, and Litecoin goes up 40%. So you've actually lost a lot more. That's why you don't really, you want to sell. When something happens, you know, you hit target, sell, and move it into coins that are better. Because in this case also, and I posted this down, that this happened, the fifth wave has been completed. Now, what you see here, now, I just want to give a caveat here for people that are still holding Theta. It's not the end of the world, guys. So what has happened here is that we had this. That's your ABC correction. Now, what comes next here is something really, really big in Theta. This most likely is only your first leg. It's going to drop down there for 5, 6, 7 days. You know, maybe more. Yeah, more or less. And then it's going to shoot up to its third leg, 4, and make more money. But this is not a coin that I'm going to play with because it's risky. You may even find sometimes when you get these corrections here, like this ABC correction, it can do another downwards trend. I just don't trust this coin. But if this thing makes another turn upwards and it hits that 20, you may want to take 50% of your portfolio, take it off, and see what happens next. And remember, not financial advice. You know, I'm just saying in training and education purposes, this is what we would do. Let's have a look at Dash. Dash is very good. I didn't put anything.
Hey, Marius, can I ask a question?
Go back to BNB for just a second. Did you give a time target on BNB going up to 500%?
We see, I didn't have a time target yet. Let me just have a look here.
Yeah, because I don't think that was on the sheet. There wasn't one for BNB and XLM.
See all this, guys. Just have a look at this date here. Potential trade sheet for 28 May to 22 June. I'm expecting that most of these, broadly speaking now, is that we could get 28 May to 20 June, is that we could get that 500% of BNB, believe it or not, but in 22 days. Wow. Okay? Let's go back quickly and spend some time on...
Marius, could I ask another quick question?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not so quick, but you mentioned manipulation with Theta. If we could go back to, I keep hearing more and more about how wonderful XRP is, but if you compare the mineable coins to something that's not mineable like XRP, what gives you the confidence in the future, if there is confidence, that XRP is going to perform well against the mineable coins?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. We can't really put any confidence in that question, really, you know. Nothing is certain in cryptos. I hope I understand your question correct.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your take on. Yeah, I mean, I've always looked at the mineable coins as being more solid. I mean, I compare XRP to something like fiat currencies. They can be printed into oblivion, like XRP can be created into oblivion as well. So I tend to stick with the minables over something like the XRP.
Yeah, and that is a good point, Michael. You know, what Michael is saying here, guys, is really true. Now, remember this. I have never invested in XRP. I only took positions now when I sold EOS. That's the only time that I invested in XRP. If XRP goes up and it hits high levels, I'll be out of XRP like a flashlight. I'll be so quick, I'll be out and sell and take my profits. I'm not long-term on XRP because exactly for the reason that you mentioned now. You know, they can introduce new XRP, and I don't really trust the people in XRP as well. And the banks as well. You have to understand that the banks are using these for transactions. As soon as they do transactions, they use XRP up. They want to buy XRP as low as possible. Millions and millions of them. If they buy XRP now at, let's say what it is, I don't know what it is, 3 cents. Why would they buy XRP at $1.80? They're going to try and push XRP down as fast and hard as they can because they will buy millions at a low price. This is why it's, in a sense, it's manipulated. And it's not something that you need to keep in your portfolio a long term, and don't be emotionally attached to XRP, guys. You know, sell when you make your profits and move into other coins, mineable coins. That's a very good point, Michael. Guys, let me quickly show you here for BNB, just to get back to that question here. Here on 17 December 2017, this is when Bitcoin dropped. Can you see here that BNB for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 5-6 days dropped. And then what happened with BNB? It went up, bang, in 17 days. Look at this. It's crazy stuff, you know. I'm not saying that this is going to happen again, but I want to take your attention and bring your attention to this. It took 20 days to go up 500%. 20 days. Now, can it happen again? Of course it can happen again. Is the probability that it is going to happen? No, there is a very low probability, but it is a probability. You know, It's like the guy, well, anyway, let me not get into this. But there is a probability that it can take off. And this is what I want to bring your attention to, that maybe we're lucky, and I want to call it lucky. It's like we're playing Russian roulette here. We may get it right, and bang, it goes up. If we get it wrong, I want to refer you back again to Bitcoin. If we get it wrong, it's not the end of the world. You just simply sell, and you wait for this market to drop, and you come back here by the end of June, going into July, the beginning, we get back in the market, and bang, the market goes up again. Nothing lost. This is why I don't mind to give you this information. It's maybe a short-term loss if we are wrong. So keep that in mind. But the probability of this happening is there. It's a probability. It's like when I work out in the oil and gas industry and I say to these people in drilling completions, listen guys, the chance that you are going to kill, let's say 3 people or 3 individuals, we have to call them IPs, individual, what is an IP now? I can't remember what it means. But if we kill an IP, you can't say people anymore. You can't, it's crazy, man. Yes, you know, this, what is this world coming to? You know, it's people working there, but we can't call them people. You have to call them an IP. Oh, the incident person, the potential incident person. You've got the probability of killing an IP, 3 of them. Now, I'm saying to the oil and gas industry that based on the old data, algorithm data, if you keep on doing what you're doing and you don't change anything, your probability to do is you're going to kill 3 IPs. It's a probability. Now we work at what is the probability, and we go and work it out and say there's a 78% chance that you're going to kill 3 people, and that's high. That is kind of like I did for a very well-known company. They start with the name S, and we were completely accurate, you know. And we then went and put measures in place for the company, and we saved them a hell of a lot of headache, because just by implementing those measures, we saved the IP's life. And that's very important. If you save a life, any oil and gas company will pay $1 billion to save 1 life. They're not stingy. You know, if they know what something can help to protect people, they will do it. Now, I'm telling you this the same year with, if I look at the Binance coin, the BNB coin, there is a probability that this can jump up to 500%, meaning that 5 IPs can get killed, but in a positive way, you know. So it's moving upwards. There's a probability, a very high probability. What is the percentage probability? The percentage probability is very low. My percentage probability on this is 37%. Let me just look at my notes here. 37%. Remember what I told you in the oil and gas industry, we had one that was 70-something%. This one here shows 37%. But it's still something that I need to mention to you to look out for, because there are maybe some people that are in BNB. One of the other things is, and I'm saying this again, look at this, guys. This is groundbreaking. This is way, way, way above the Python y-axis. This thing could potentially go parabolic and hit a target, I kid you not, of 142. Most likely in the next 20 days. If it doesn't happen, don't put my head on a block. I'm just saying that you may want to invest some money in this. And if you already own it, just keep it. And if it doesn't happen in this cycle now, in the next 20 days, guys, it's going to happen in June, July, August. Because what is coming next year is crazy. You're going to make this 500%. It is going to happen somewhere, if not now. So if you invest $100,000, there's a probability that you can make $500,000. If you invest $1,000, you can make $5,000. You can pay off your credit card, pay off your car. And this is one of the things, guys, that I really want to talk to people here. We are here to help you make money. I'm selling my car. You know, you guys all know that I'm driving a 2001 old car. I've got all the money in the world to buy a $200,000 car, but I don't want it. I'm investing my money in cryptos. Now, I'm not a fancy guy. I don't want to have all this fancy stuff. I don't need a $200,000 car. I'm driving a $5,000 car in Australia, and everybody goes and they think, oh, you say you've got so much money, but you're driving a cheap car. It's not about that, guys. I'm selling that car. I'm going to take that $5,000 and put it in cryptos as well. Guess what? Our family will only have 1 car paid off, but I'm going to use Uber to drive around. If I want to get somewhere, I spend $10, $12, $15, go in Uber. I can sit there, I can talk to the guy, I can check on my iPad what's happening, I can communicate with people, I can do conference calls while I've got a driver. So in effect, I've actually got my own driver. You know, think about this. You want to take the money and put it into cryptos. You won't be disappointed. You know, now I'm not saying go and borrow money on your house. Never ever do it. You want to pay your debt off first. You know, if you don't make money in the next year or two, in 2 years from now, we're going to have a little bit of a down cycle. But then after that, what's going to happen, guys, is just crazy. Let me tell you this. If you think this next 18 months or 2 years is going to be massive, because it is, then we have a down cycle. And many of you know that in the beginning of the year, I did the granular cycle and I showed you. We're going to have a bit of a down cycle. What comes next is going to make this move up look small. But remember this, guys, I'm warning you, there is hyperinflation under your noses. Okay, let me quickly, oh, somebody wants me to turn on my video. Guys, I'm not hiding from you, I'll start my video, but I'm just trying to save bandwidth, but I've turned my video on anyway. People want to see me. Okay, now let's go to Theta. As I said, Theta, yeah, well, okay. Let's go into Dash. Dash is, I'm nearly done with everything, and then we'll get into some questions here. Dash, I do believe, is going to go up around about to this level here, the 3B algorithm line, to about 236. Very good. You don't have to worry about Dash. Keep it, even if the market drops slightly. Guys, I'm really going to have to stop my video. It's not that I don't want you guys to see, but the bandwidth is just eating it up. Okay, let's see how that goes. Yeah, I can't have my video on. It's eating the bandwidth, and then the videos are appearing very slow. Okay, the...
Wait a minute, not up yet. There it is. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so there's Dash. You can see that I believe it's going to hit this level here of 233. It can potentially go up to this Y-axis. Now, with regard to Dash, I don't believe I did put it on the cheat sheet, but I do believe it's going to go up. It's got very nice momentum. You can see the strong upwards momentum of the 22 MAE. Now, you need to get a feeling as well. Now, remember, this is woo-woo stuff. I'm looking at that chart and I'm going like, that looks good. You know, it's broken through the pink line. The pink line is now support. That 50 MA is moving upwards above the 2B algorithm line. The 22 is moving up very strongly. The Python X indicator looks good. Everything looks good. Woo, woo, buy. You know, if it drops, I just sell and get out. Now, remember this. This could potentially be the high point as well. Okay, so you need to take this into account. And this is why I said I didn't put Dash on this. It's not something that I will trade now, because it could well be, guys, that is the fifth leg. What happens after the fifth leg is you could have a extension upwards breaking that line there, but you could also have a ABC correction. And this is one of the ones that I can't really ascertain. Think about this, you know, it's already done the golden cross. What happens after the golden cross? You get a big spike upwards. That spike could potentially go up to here, to this 5 point, maybe up there. But look at this percentage, guys. It's so small, you know, it's literally like Litecoin. This is why a lot of people think Litecoin is the bomb, okay? Think about this here. Litecoin can still potentially only go up another 42%, or sorry, 27% in my opinion. But Litecoin can also spike up. So you have to be careful with Litecoin, very, very careful. And here we can see it's now 10 o'clock, and you can see here Litecoin is moving up, Bitcoin is moving up. Expect Bitcoin to perhaps drop and altcoins to go upwards a little bit more. Let's quickly see what is happening on Bitcoin Cash as well. That's moving up, and Bitcoin is also moving up. Okay, let's get into ADA. Guys, ADA, man, this is a great crypto. We believe that it can still go up about 275. It's got no 3B algorithm line. It's got no Python Y axis. Very important to know. This means that there's still upwards momentum in this coin. Now look at this, you know, the fifth wave could potentially be up as high as 0.19. Okay, so keep this in mind. I do believe that we're going to get down to this level here of about 294. There's a probability that this can spike. Again, what I want to do is to take your attention to this line here. This target here is the target of 15 October 2018. Take some profits when you get to that level. This line here is the 20 July 2018 high point. When you hit that level, be careful, like I did with EOS. I took some profits, you know. But I'm saying there is a probability that we can go up to this level here of 294. Once you see, when this breaks up above the 15 October line, this 3B algorithm is going to show up. It won't show up now. Mathematically, it can't show up because you can't have a zero figure. You can't have nothing of nothing. It's difficult to explain this in algorithm analysis, but you can't have a Python y-axis either because there's zero data. But once you move up, you're going to see that the 3B algorithm is going to show up, and I'll post the charts out for you guys, okay? Now, let's move on quickly to TRX. Initially on TRX, I was really anti-TRX because of the fact that the data, believe it or not, guys, this coin, I tell you guys this in all honesty, I think the Chinese government is putting a lid on TRX. I'm going to tell you this now, that I can't find credible data on TRX. The reason is somebody is hiding the data. Now, with the data, I mean, when you go into TradingView, there's additional raw data that you can pull off. There's zero data. It's as if somebody just said delete or block. The only way they can do it is if TRX, Justin Sun, and these people are doing it themselves. That's why I said I can't find credible data on it to do my algorithm data, meaning working with my Python-X indicators, the 22 MAE, the Python y-axis, and whatever. But a few days ago, yesterday, what happened is that this, in my opinion, and somebody in the office pointed it out, they said this is actually a very large head and shoulders. I had a look at this and I went like, yeah, that definitely is. So what we did is we believe that this one now is going to hit upwards. When we looked at the volume, you can see here, this is kind of good. The volume is not excellent, but for the amount of coins that are being traded, let me just make that a little bit darker maybe. I'm into this. So this kind of looks okay for me. It's not fantastic. That data here, around about that point, is okay for the head and shoulders. And then you must have declining data more or less on that. So that works out to confirm that it's a 85 to 92% confirmed head and shoulders. Keep in mind it's very distorted. Okay, and that is manipulation in TRX. TRX, in my opinion, should have been way higher from where it is now. It's a screaming buy because I believe, okay, now first of all, I'm going to show you where the minimum target is. The normal rule in cryptocurrencies and coins is if you take the distance from the bottom head to where that trend line is, and you take that towards the breakout point, which is here, and you just move it over there, just a general rule, that gives us 0.05. The percentage that you can make on TRX. And in my opinion, this is a very good probability that this can happen. From where it is now, there's a chance that you can make about 66, 75% gains. I would literally go and sell at that point. Now keep in mind, the 20 July high point is there at 0.03. Okay, it could be that that is only the high point and that we could go sideways. But normally a head and shoulders will break out to that level there of 0.05. So I was hesitant to actually bring this in. I've lost a lot of money in TRX, so I don't like TRX. You know, my dad, for example, he bought TRX very, very high. I can't remember where, but guys, there's something going on in TRX that I just don't like. Unless we know what it is, I'm going to move into it. But it's still in my model portfolio. Okay, I'm not going to take it out just because I'm now emotional about it. You know, this can still make money. Breaking these high points here is not going to be difficult when it starts moving. And you'll actually see that when the market turns around and all coins move, this coin is going to move a little bit faster than the average coin. Now, let's get into XLM quickly.
They want to go review Litecoin. Said that you got sidetracked with questions. Can you please review
Yeah, let me just quickly get into XLM and then we'll go back to Litecoin. Okay, XLM basically, I would actually buy it here around about on the 5th. You can see that the golden cross is yet to happen. We can see a little bit more downwards pressure here. And then in about 5 days, here around about 5-6 June, we can actually start buying XLM. XLM is going to potentially bring back all the gains that it's lost. Guys, I'm going to go back to Litecoin because apparently there's a few questions there. Let's open for questions and we'll start with Litecoin. Christopher, I know that you can't wait to ask a question.
Well, I tell you, today I'm all ears, just excited about what's coming. So I don't know so much whether I've got a question, just if you had more that you're looking to share on it.
Yeah, okay, let me show you. Okay, let's have a look at, okay, I want you guys to now really focus on what I'm going to show you now. Have a look here at Bitcoin on the bottom. And I want to focus your attention to this Python y-axis. Okay, let me copy that. I'm going to put it there. That is your Python y-axis. Now, the Python comes from the website that I built, pythonsignals.com, and we have developed our algorithm in Python, the coding Python. I did it myself, as well as a combination of C++. So that's where the Python y-axis comes from. It's groundbreaking. Nobody's ever seen this. As a matter of fact, I can tell you guys one day how I accidentally discovered the mathematical equation. I don't believe anybody in the world has it. And it's very strange. It's kind of like woo-woo how it happened. But anyway, we'll get into that because a lot of people don't believe in woo-woo. But guys, you really need to start believing in spiritual stuff, you know. The world is not just black and white. You know, there's a lot of other things that you need to take into account. But let's focus on this. I'm going to show you objective evidence here now. Have a look at this brown line there, the 22 mathematical equation there. I'm going to put that up there and just make that right because that's now crossed there. So let me just copy this. Christopher, did you call me this morning as well? Because I couldn't take the call.
Negative.
Okay, it must have been somebody else. I think it was Steve. Okay, now have a look at this. This mathematical equation, the brown line. Let's talk about brown and purple. Okay, the brown line has gone over the purple line. Look at that point, and I put that blue line in here. Now let's go and have a look at Litecoin. The brown line there has moved above the purple line. Now let's assume that we go and move this on and say that if that moved, that is 1 day further. Okay, can you see that this one here was a down trend? Although it's a red candle, can you see that it went down? It's the lowest point. Okay, so here we go. There, Litecoin is on the lowest point. What happens next is that we should see a green candle. We then should see a green candle going up and up. This is what I'm expecting. It may not play out like this, okay? And then, let's say this is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We could on Saturday see a spike upwards into this level here of 135 and maybe beyond. Why? It's because Bitcoin is ahead of the game. Look there. Bitcoin is way ahead. Now look at this, guys. See that red dot there? There's the red dot on Bitcoin. Now here Bitcoin stabbed right through. Litecoin couldn't break through there. Then Litecoin went downwards, but it broke up. It broke up. Look, here Bitcoin broke up, and there's Litecoin breaking up. There's Litecoin going down for 3 days. There's Bitcoin going down for 3 days. Then Bitcoin goes sideways a little bit, and it breaks out. Okay, breaks out upwards. It's following almost the same pattern. There's the break upwards, and there's the break here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days down. 1, 2, 3, 4 days down. Okay. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 days up. Look what happened with Litecoin. 1, 2, 3, 4 days up. Basically, what I see here is that Litecoin is just trailing behind Bitcoin. And that's why I've said I've kept quiet about it, because I didn't want analysts to find this out. Because they keep on saying that Litecoin is the head of the game, but they don't realize, you know, how these axes work. So, and guys, I'm really going to cut this section out. Only for people that are live here. I can't give all this information out to the world, you know. So I'm going to cut this out. But we believe that Litecoin is now there, more or less there, somewhere there again, because cycles repeat themselves, cycles don't always play out. But if you look at the axis here, the y-axis and the 22, that is where we are now. We expect an uptrend now, and then on Saturday, over the weekend, maybe up. On Monday, we're going to come down. And I expect that Bitcoin may have a bit of pressure going downwards as well. One caveat, I just want to mention this with Bitcoin too, guys. Remember this, that Bitcoin, I do believe Bitcoin is on a downtrend. Exactly what I showed you guys here. Go back into the blog and you'll find this data here. I believe that this is what's going to happen. This whole pattern that you see at the moment is the algorithm pattern of Apple. And unfortunately, I haven't shown Apple yet. I don't want to do it because I don't want to give our data away. You know, otherwise, people will know how we do our analysis. But even if you show Apple, they can't do it because you have to combine Apple with Microsoft. Apple is basically kind of like Bitcoin, and then Microsoft is kind of like Litecoin. Now, when you compare Apple and Microsoft on a 17.5-hour chart, the algorithm chart, it's a little bit different, you know. You get, what you get is, see this, guys, you on the bottom, you get your log chart. Now, you get your normal view chart that you have, then you get your log, and then you get your algorithm chart. What I developed myself, nobody has it. If you look at the algorithm charts, now you can go and figure it out yourself by putting it in the Excel spreadsheet and then create your own visual graph. It will work similar to what you see in TradingView. You'll see what I mean. Microsoft is trailing Apple. So whatever Apple does, Microsoft will do the same. That's why Microsoft will never ever be bigger than Apple. It's got to do with a mathematical algorithm. It just won't. Now we can actually use this algorithm and do it in the stock market as well. But guys, why do you want to make 10 or 20% in the world stock markets, where we can make 200, 300, 500, 1,000% a year? Rather focus on this. We want to take the money from Wall Street and put it in our own pocket. And I know, Parvish, you told me not to talk about that. But go ahead, guys. Let's ask questions and move on.
You see like 40,000 on Litecoin by Jan of 2020.
Not 40,000. Do you mean $40,000?
Right. I mean, I thought that's what you said when you were talking about NEO going to it.
No, we're talking about Bitcoin. I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Bitcoin. Look, my target on Bitcoin, remember this, is still the same. I haven't changed it because the algorithm has not yet changed. There's a y-axis and there's a XY y-axis, and there's other axes as well. These point that we break the all-time high the second or third week in January of next year. Then we hit 20,000. But the banks are talking about they're going to run Bitcoin up to $80,000. I don't see that happening. I don't know where they come from. Unless we have a surge of money coming in. Remember this, that can change the whole ball game. I believe we're going to have about a $1.3 trillion market cap going into next year, January, February. So when we hit 20,000 and break the all-time high, we're going to have another jump to 30 very quick. And then we break the all-time high of 1.3 or hit 1.3 trillion. But from what I listen to what people are saying on this conference calls, and a very big buddy of mine who's trading about $1.3 billion for banks, on these calls that they reckon they're going to run Bitcoin up to 40 and 80,000, around there. If that is true, it changes everything. But we will find it in the algorithm data going forward. We must still have a big influx of money coming in. Now, keep in mind, let's quickly go back, and I haven't spoken about this yet. The world stock markets here, if you look at the Dow Jones, you'll see that we said, at this point, we said that we're going to have an ABC correction, and we reckon around about 7 or 8% decline. We're going to come to 24,663, and then the market is going to go upwards. This market here is going to go a little bit more upwards. Now, this point here could go on till about 17 July. It could drop a little bit further and have maybe support here. Now listen really carefully. I tell you guys, In this next few days, from here onwards here, for the next 50 to 60 days, you are going to hear that financial institutions are moving some money out of Wall Street and is going to enter into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The reason I'm saying so is because I heard it on a call that was replayed to me. Now, they're already doing it bit by bit. The money managers that are managing big funds, they are looking at this and going for themselves, but I'm going to invest my own money in there. And they're already starting to invest in cryptos and all these kind of things. But they must have a vehicle, like an ETF or something credible that's associated with legalities where they can move money into. And this is quickly happening now. One of the reports, and I thank you very much that you've sent it to me, Roger. I don't know, Roger, if you're online here. And if I can post this as well, Grayscale. If you look at Grayscale investment products, these are the trusts that has already been set up, but they couldn't really use it much to put clients' money in. But now this one here, this Grayscale, this top one here, the Grayscale Ethereum Trust is coming alive. Let me just see where is the data. And you saw that I posted it out on Telegram. Let me just see where that is. On your Telegram channel, you will be able to see this. The financial, just waiting for that to pitch up. There we go. The Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, which serves as Wall Street's self-regulatory organization, recently approved public quotation of shares in the trust Grayscale announced. Okay. Now, there it is. That trust has been set up in 2017. Money is going to move in there, and it's already starting to move in. So let's just get back to Litecoin. Was there any other questions, guys, on Litecoin?
Hey, Marius. I got a quick question, not regarding Litecoin, but just some speculation as to why you think, or what the possibilities of why Wall Street might be running up the prices. Are they trying to get it like Berkshire Hathaway to where it's so expensive most people won't invest? Or do you think it's more of trying to capture more of the market? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, there are two things that we thought out. You know, there are two things. Number one, it's actually three. Number one, they don't want people to get a share of Ethereum. They don't want the public to have 1, 2, or 3, or 5 Ethereums, because then they own 50,000 or 60 or 70,000. By making it expensive, you can only buy 0.1 of Ethereum. I'm talking about the average person on the street now, you know. Okay, that's number one. Number two is greed. They are greedy. They want to make a heck of a lot of profit. Number three, there's hyperinflation in the world. When Wendy was in America, I had to fend for myself and I had to make my own food. So what I went is I went and bought some steaks, and I barbecued 2 steaks. One steak was for my vegetables and the other steak was for meat. So that's how I got by. But the point is I went into these stores and I had a look at these food on the aisles, and I looked at the prices and I went like, cheese, 37 a kilo? I went like, no way. Guys, I looked around in that store literally like a dumb person, and I went like, am I in the store, that the elite store where everything is expensive and good quality? And I looked at the products and I went like, yes, this doesn't even look like good quality. I walked further through the store and I found that every single thing is so expensive that you can't believe. You know, what is this brown thing that we have, maybe the Grenadellas? Passion fruit. Guys, let me tell you this. I'm going to ask this question. Guess what one passion fruit costs in the stores as of today? Can anybody tell me?
Somebody says go to Aldi.
Even Aldi is expensive in Australia as well. Very expensive. Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. One passion fruit is $2.50. Now, it may be that it's out of
crazy.
season or whatever, but guys, we have got a passion fruit vine here in our own garden. Very nice. Hundreds of passion fruit on it. So there's passion fruits all over the world here in Australia. But $2.50 for one passion fruit. A bag of carrots, a 1 kilogram bag of carrots, $8.99. I mean, they're charging me $8.99 for a bit of rabbit food. What, you know, it's crazy. When I went out of that store, I couldn't believe it. And I said to Wendy, I'll give you more money now. I understand you come every week and you tell me the food is so expensive. I thought she's just getting the money and she's pocketing it all so that she can do her hair and buy the makeup and all that kind of stuff, you know? Although she's actually making her own money. But guys, there's hyperinflation. That's coming.
Marius, I think that might be a Queensland thing because carrots in Melbourne are only $1 a kilo.
It could be. It could be. Yeah.
Must be a Queensland thing. Yeah.
Marius, what are the price of bananas in Queensland? Because you guys grow them there. You guys grow nuts. You grow bananas. You grow coconuts. You grow every fruit, every tropical fruit that you can eat. You grow right there in Queensland.
Exactly. Wendy, what is the price of bananas? She just bought some yesterday.
Because I always found bananas to be crazy expensive.
Yeah, bananas are about $2.99 a kilo, I think.
Yeah, crazy.
But it's still expensive. In America, you'll pay 99 cents a kilo for that.
I'll tell you what was really high was coffee. Coffee skyrocketed.
Yeah, coffee is sky high. I mean, guys, it's not uncommon here if you go to a normal coffee store, a coffee shop, to buy a medium cup of coffee. Now, remember, in America, you've got medium, small, medium, and large or extra large. Here in Australia, it's a little bit distorted. They've got small and large. But if I buy a coffee, I'm going to spend about minimum $4.50, upwards to about $5.50 for a cup of coffee. Now, the reason I'm saying this to you is there's hyperinflation, but nobody is seeing it. It's been hidden by the governments.
Marius, a small coffee in Australia is about 5 ounces. It's about maybe 5 ounces for a small. In a medium is maybe, at least when I was in Sydney.
As the guy in the group who sells coffee, I can tell you that a small is a 6 ounce, a medium is a 12 ounce, and a large is a 16 ounce. And I sell those for $3.50, $4.50, $5.50.
Yeah, $3.50 for a small.
Okay, awesome. No, thanks for that info. How much is that in America?
And like understanding like what's going on in the market.
It's pretty similar, Marius.
So guys, regard this as the end of the webinar for today. Thank you very much for everybody that's been on the call. We wish you good luck for this next week. Keep a look and an eye out on the blog posts for new updates.